Good morning, everybody. How y'all doing? So check this out, right? I was having a conversation with someone and they were telling me about how, they was just pretty much down in the dumps and they felt like, they just wasn't living up into, I guess, the parameters that they had for themselves. Like they felt unsuccessful. And my answer to them was, well, have you properly defined what success is? You see, definitions mean things. So when you don't have the proper definition, you will always feel less than. You see, a lot of people look at famous people and they say they're successful. But really, are they successful because they're famous? Are they successful because they have a certain amount of money? Because as you know, there's millionaires that, are no longer here because they just weren't happy in life. There's people that's sitting in a $5.3 million mansion alone. There's people that have so much money and they just give it away because it doesn't mean as much as they thought that it meant to them. Then there's people that live in an apartment, have a beater for a car, working a job that's just getting by, and they're happy because they have a proper definition of success. You see, a lot of people think that here on this earth, you're successful by the things that you obtain. But when it's your time to go, none of that can go with you. A lot of people say, well, I'm doing it, for my kids and my kids' kids. I'm building generational wealth. That's great. But what about from the spiritual side, the mental side? You see, you're worried about generational wealth, but you haven't put in the time. So yes, they, have, generational wealth, but they're spiritually, mentally poor because they have not been taught the real definition of success. And my definition of success might be different than yours, but I have my definition. You see, a lot of times, a lot of us, we talk about, being blessed, being God's chosen, being this, that, and the other. And out that same mouth, you would complain when life throws you curveballs. But I'm a firm believer that if God has chosen you, he has chosen you because of what he knows that's inside of you. And if God knows what's inside of you, sometimes the devil tries to get a hold of you before you know what's inside of you. That's why the mess just keeps on coming. See, for myself, right, I'm in a situation to everybody that knows me know I always speak about my grandparents, love them to life, miss them, terribly. But they lived through me. And because of that, when they were here, the relationship that we had, a lot of people didn't really like. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not talking about, let me take that back. I'm not going to say a lot of people didn't like, but certain family members within the family didn't like it. But they didn't understand that because of that relationship, other people would be blessed. So now when I hear stuff, right, people come, let me tell y'all something, right? Y'all think just because a bunch of people get together, y'all are all on one accord. You're not, because people trickle back and they tell you, they tell me stuff. And a lot of times, I will be like, oh, what? This person said what? But now I'm like, I don't need to hear it. I don't need to hear none of that. Because like I've always said, if they feel comfortable talking to you about me, then I have to question you. Because if they can talk about me to you, I don't believe in one-sided conversations. Because if they're sitting there spewing stuff about me and you just sitting there nodding your head, I got to question you. But what I understand is that if God has chosen me for certain things, I got to go through that mess. Papa used to tell me all the time, they talked about Jesus, so why wouldn't they talk about you? And I'm a firm believer in that. My thing is getting those bad apples out of my life. I don't have to come on social media to make an announcement of, yeah, I ain't messing with this person no more. I don't have to come on social media to make an announcement that I'm leaving social media. I never understood that. I never understand when people say, man, I'm off this app. And then 5 minutes later, they're on this app, right? If you're going to do something, do it. Do it. I mean, like, what do you want? You want people to say, no, don't go. No, you like the attention. You like the attention. So for myself, I have to be very aware that if the devil gets me, he gets the people that's attached to me. So yes, sometimes it doesn't seem fair that I got to go through some mess. Sometimes it doesn't seem fair that the people that come to me and talk to me on a daily basis are the main ones that's talking about me. But I gotta act like I don't know. You feel me? Like I gotta act like I gotta hold back the side of me that want to check them, because that checking might throw me off course. I'm not dumb. So I look at you and I'm like, yeah, I know what you're about. But I can't let it affect me, because the bigger picture is the bigger picture. So that's my message in this video. If you find yourself in a situation till you're feeling like, man, I'm feeling like I'm not, you know what I'm saying, where I need to go back and look at what your definition of success is. If your definition of success has materialistic things all, wrapped up into it, that's why you don't feel successful. And what you got to understand is the devil is in the blessing business too. See, certain people think that being successful is you walking on the job and you get this promotion and all of this other type of stuff, right? You be like, man, God has blessed me, because sometimes God has blessed you. But sometimes you know what you did to get that promotion. You had to talk about somebody else. You had to lie on somebody. You had to do this, that, and the other. Sometimes you going to get that new car and then you come on social media and you thanking God because he blessed you with a new car. But you know how you got that car. You know you lied on them taxes. You know who you stole from. You know who you lied on. You know it. But you will ball that into being successful. No, the devil is in the blessing business too. So just remember that on this Tuesday morning, if you haven't properly defined what success is, and if you have, said, okay, my definition of success is I got to have a certain amount of money in the bank, I got to have this, that, and the other, right? That stuff can be taken away. My definition of success is me being who God wants me to be. Y'all have a blessed day.